Hey, the man, he gets sacks. He's a game wrecker. Give him $160 million. Give him $186 million. That's how you win, right? That's how you finally get some of that. The only problem is, history tells us this doesn't necessarily work. When the Rams acquired Myles Garrett, people will be quick to assume that's how you build a Super Bowl contender. You find the most dominant pass rusher alive and you take on his contract, right? And the rest is just going to magically figure itself out. Now, before we jump to those conclusions, there's a pattern in the league that has been repeating itself for almost a decade now, and it's swallowed some of the greatest defensive players who've ever lived. I call it the pass rush tax. And I got the receipts that don't lie. Now let's hop in there like swimwear and let me show you exactly what I mean. Coming off Myles Garrett's sack record season, the Browns' record was 5-12. Garrett had only made the playoffs twice in his 8 years in Cleveland. He demanded the trade because, I quote, "the team's future is not aligned with winning." But surely some other teams have gotten better results, right? Not really. Aiden Hutchinson, with a $180 million extension and $141 million guaranteed, one of the largest non-quarterback guarantees at the time, messed around and broke his leg, fractured his tibia and fibia week 6 of 2024 versus Dallas. Came back in 2025 and the Lions, who watched it happen, still gave him 180 M&Ms and then proceeded to miss the playoffs. Then there's old Micah Parsons, who was worth a king's ransom that our poor rich Uncle Jerry didn't want to pay for whatever reason. He had to run off on the plug, but ended up with 186 M&Ms and a 4-year extension. He messed around and tore his ACL week 15 versus the Broncos. The Packers' record 9-7-1 and lost the wild card to the Bears 27-31. So you see, Kuznuzin, that's Garrett, Hutchinson's, and Parsons. 3 different teams, 3 different years, same result every single time. And I hope you're starting to see the pattern here. And those are just the most recent ones. There's a really big one that we can't forget to mention in this little case study. And that's a 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, Mr. J.J. Watt. My boy got 100 M&Ms and never made it past the divisional round. And I mean, not only was he an elite pass rusher, he cleaned the shit out the chicken coop, got the cows some feed, he was catching defensive touchdowns, offensive touchdowns. What else do you want from a defensive lineman? What else did you want from him? He had overlap years with Andre Johnson, a Hall of Fame receiver, one of the best in franchise history. The buffoonery in the Texans front office should be criminalized, because all that and they still couldn't get over the hump. And now they're paying Mr. Will Anderson Jr. $50 million a year. The Texans got proof in their own building that this doesn't work, and they keep running it back. But here's the real proof. Ndamukong Suh got $68 million on a 5-year rookie deal in 2010. He made $64 million in Detroit, yet earned 0 playoff wins. He then bounced around to Miami on a 6-year, $114 million deal in March 2015, which only lasted 3 out of the 6 years before they bounced his behind out of the building. Bounced around to the Rams on a 1-year, $14 million deal, no ring there. And finally to the Buccaneers on a $9.25 million 1-year deal in 2020. And how serendipitous, he won a Super Bowl on his cheapest deal. Now, while his numbers did slightly decline, that wasn't the real issue. It's the fact he got almost a 1/12 of the money he was getting when he played for the Dolphins. The team got better around him because they weren't handcuffed to his contract. And this is a key distinction here. Teams can acquire elite D-line talent at any point through trades and signings. You don't actually have to mortgage your cap to get production, and Suh proved that. Now, Juicy, put the damn popcorn down for a second and make yourself useful and go get my data for me. You better not catch no attitude with me, or I'll send you right back to the zoo. Now let's take a looky here. The blue bars is the big money. To be fully transparent, I use some of the lifetime earnings for some of the older players and some of the large contract extensions. Those are your nice and large blue bars, which might as well be blue balls to the organizations, because it doesn't mean you're going to get a nut, or I guess a ring in this case. But then our yellow bars tell us the real story. It's plain as day that Suh and Leonard Williams won their Super Bowl rings on a deal that was significantly less than the max money. Everybody else just got a bunch of blue balls. I mean bars. The bread goes up, but the rings don't follow. Suh made all that bread and then had to get a humility check towards the end. So if paying one guy doesn't get you there, what does? The Seattle Seahawks got the dub in Super Bowl 60 with the #1 scoring defense. The highest paid D lineman was Leonard Williams on 21 M&Ms. In the Super Bowl, they recorded 6 total sacks with 4 different players and held New England scoreless through 3 quarters. What Seattle did was build a pass rush committee, not go out and buy one $40 million edge rusher, just to have one player eating 15% of the cap. They built a team and didn't mortgage the farm. But was Seattle's win a fluke, or is this a pattern? So I went back and looked at every Super Bowl champion over the last 5 years and mapped their highest paid D linemen against their wins, and this is what came back. On the left side, you got the championship zone, and on the right, the bust zone. The Eagles, Chiefs, Seahawks, and Rams didn't spend over $25 million per year on any said D lineman. And on the right side, with the $40 million plus contracts and 14+% of the cap being used, none of them made it to the Super Bowl. And you see the dot sitting over there by itself, Mr. 23 sacks Myles Garrett, the greatest individual D-line season in history, and the data says it don't matter. The facts of the matter is that the last 5 Super Bowl champs never spent more than 12.5% of their salary cap on their highest paid defensive line. More money on defensive linemen equals fewer wins. That trend line doesn't lie. And if you want to know about another potentially giant waste of money, check out my video about the Heisman Trophy win. But now, here's where my argument gets a little complicated, because there is one team that might actually prove me wrong. You see, the Rams didn't just pay Garrett, they built around him first. They traded with the Chiefs for an all-pro cornerback, Trent McDuffie, signed cornerback Jalen Watson, and already had one of the best offenses in football with Stratford, a healthy Devontae Adams, and Puka Nacua. And in Cleveland, Garrett was getting double-teamed or chipped almost 60% of his snaps. Because who else are you going to worry about on that defense? Nobody. On the Rams, every double team on Garrett creates a one-on-one somewhere else that they can actually win. The 49ers O-line coach called this trade a gut punch. And that's just not something you say about a player you can scheme around. You see, the Rams aren't paying for Garrett to fix their team. They're paying for Garrett to finish. They built the house first, and Garrett is the roof. That's not what the Browns did. That's not what the Lions did. And that's not what the Packers did. But here's a question that somebody's sure to get after me about in the comment section. Somebody like Garrett is a bad man, and he deserves every dollar he's getting. That's not the argument. The question is, can your team afford the pass rush tax? When you're spending $40 to almost $50 million a year on a pass rusher, you're not necessarily building a contender. You're making a bet. And what happens when your bet breaks his leg or tears his ACL? What you got left at that point? Because you don't have a team, you have a cap problem and a losing record. Now, history will tell us that Tom Brady took less money, but he also got leverage and got to influence who played around him. How many front offices let a D lineman have a say in who they build around him? Most teams, you take the $160 million and you get what they give you. You're not building, you're a cog, not a partner. And unfortunately, that's probably not going to get you a championship. But that's all I got. You should already know what the deal is. Run on your toes, keep your mouth closed, lock your doors, and hide your hoes. And most importantly, live to fight another day. I'm gonna get out of here.